Okay, so in this video we're going to look at solving a problem involving midpoint. What we're given in the question in this case is we're given a point A and we're given a point B. Point A has coordinate minus 2y, and coordinate B then is x11. So we don't know what y is, we don't know what x is here. The only bit of information we're given is that the midpoint of these 2 points here, the midpoint of AB, is minus 1, 3. So from that we have to find what x and y are here, find the values of x and y for our 2 points. So because we're given the midpoint of these 2 points here, what we're going to do is use the midpoint formula. So if we just write down the midpoint formula, just write down MP is equal to, so it's going to be x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. So it's the average of our x's, the average of our y's here. Now, what we're going to do next is we have our 2 points here, A and B. So what I'm going to do is identify these numbers here, minus 2 and y, and these 2 numbers here, x and 11, as x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'll just identify this one here as x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. So all I've got to do now is put all of this information into this formula here. Now we know that the midpoint of these 2 points here is minus 1, 3. So I can put that here, minus 1, 3 equals. Now I can put in my x1, x2, y1, y2. So it's x1 plus x2 over 2. It's the average of the x's, if you like. So it's minus 2 plus x. And we have to divide that by 2. Now we've got to add the 2 y's and divide by 2. So it's y plus 11 over 2. So this is our equation here. What we've got to do now is take out the x parts from each side, take out the y parts from each side, form 2 equations and work out what x and y are. So in other words, this minus 1 here is equal to this part here, and this 3 here, the y part, is equal to this part here. So what I can do is write down minus 1 is equal to minus 2 plus x over 2, and I can solve this for x. And also I can say that this 3 here is equal to this part here. So 3 is equal to y plus 11 over 2. Okay, so if we solve this and solve this, we can work out what x and y are. So let's do that. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to solve this bit here. So I have minus 1 equal to minus 2 plus x over 2. So what I can do is multiply everything by this 2 here. If I multiply the left hand side by 2 and multiply the right hand side by 2, I'll get rid of this fraction here anyway. So let's multiply this here by 2. So it's 2 times minus 1, which is minus 2. If I multiply this side by 2, so I'll have a 2 over 1 multiplied by all of this. The 2's will cancel, and I'll just be left with minus 2 plus x. So really what I've done here, if you like, is I've multiplied this side by 2 over 1, so 2 over 1 multiplied by minus 1. I've multiplied this side by 2 over 1. So here I end up with 2 times minus 1, which is minus 2. Here this 2 will cancel with this 2, and I'm left with minus 2 plus x, which I've got here. Okay, so next all we've got to do is isolate the x. So we have a minus 2 added to this x here. So what I need to do is add 2 to both sides. So I'm going to put in a plus 2 here, which will cancel with the minus 2. So I need to put in a plus 2 on this side. So what I end up with is minus 2 plus 2 is equal to x. So minus 2 plus 2 is 0, and I have an x on this side, so x is equal to 0. So I have my value for x now. Okay, so let's do exactly the same for this here. 3 is equal to y plus 11 over 2. So we'll do the same thing. We have a 2 on the bottom here of this fraction, so I want to get rid of that 2. So what I'm going to do is multiply both sides by 2. So if I multiply this side by 2, I'll get 6. If I multiply this side by 2, this 2 will cancel here, and we just end up with y plus 11. Now what I want to do is isolate the y, so I'm going to have to get rid of this plus 11 by putting in a minus 11 here. Plus 11 minus 11 will cancel, but since I put a minus 11 in here, I have to put in a minus 11 here on the left hand side as well. So I've got 6 minus 11 equals y. That gives me 6 minus 11 is minus 5. So I have my two values for x, one value for x, one value for y. So x can be 0 and y can be minus 5. Now what you can do is put the two values in there and see, do you in fact get this midpoint here? So let's just try that. I can do it here, I think. So let's go over here and put the values in. Now we know that our points now are minus 2, our y was minus 5, and our x we decided, or we worked out, was 0, and we have 11 here. Okay, so these are our 2 points that we've calculated down along here. So let's just put these into our midpoint formula and see, do we in fact get minus 1, 3. So our midpoint from this formula here, we got midpoint is equal to x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. So again, what I'm going to do here is I'll just identify these again. This is my x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. So I'm going to put these values here into this formula here and see what we end up with. Okay, so let's just put them in. So we have x1 plus x2, so that's minus 2 plus 0, and we want to divide that by 2. Y1 plus y2, so that's going to be minus 5 plus 11. We want to divide that by 2. Okay, so let's see what we end up with. Minus 2 plus 0 is minus 2. So we have minus 2 here over 2. And here we end up with minus 5 plus 11. That will give me 6. So what we end up with here is minus 2 divided by plus 2 is minus 1. 6 divided by 2, 3. This is our midpoint, and it is in fact the midpoint we were given in the question. Minus 1, 3, minus 1, 3. So our values of y being minus 5 and x being 0 are correct. Okay, so that's it.